Explosion is correct. Again, it was 3 touchdowns in the final 90 seconds. Stephen A., considering that game last night and everything you saw, do you believe that this win will turn the season around for the Steelers?
I'm not sure about that yet. First of all, the way they started out the game, I think when you look at Arian Foster, 2 11-yard rushes, I think that he had another burst. I forgot for how many yards it was. I wasn't pleased with the Steelers' defense when they fell behind 13-0. I won't deny that he had a 33-yard burst after 2 11-yard runs on their first possession. You just thought that it was going to be a long night for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they got a couple of turnovers. Obviously, they got a field goal. They got a touchdown, a 35-yard hookup from Roethlisberger to Martavis Bryant. Then also you obviously had their defense and Brett Keys turning in a play of the game. I still look at the Pittsburgh Steelers as somewhat flawed. I don't think their defense is that formidable. I think people know they can move the ball on that defense. I think their pass rush is suspect. I think their secondary is suspect. And when you have those kind of problems, you're not going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers that we know and love. And as a result of it, I just think it's problematic for them. I don't see them being better than the Baltimore Ravens. I know talent-wise they're not better than the Cincinnati Bengals. So, no, I don't view it as it being something of a turnaround.
So they're not back to you in the playoff hunt?
No.
Okay. I am with you on that. I don't think they're out of the woods just yet. I thought that was a bizarre game. I thought that was an aberration of a game. I thought that was Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback for the Houston Texans. Instead of, I can't get this out of my head, what would Johnny Manziel look like at quarterback? Would they be a little more explosive, a little more dangerous?
Well, that's easy for you to say when Ryan Fitzpatrick is the option.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But again, he is the option, and apparently, unless Ryan Mallett is the next option, he's the only option. I can't get past the beard. The beard sort of stops me in my tracks. It's so big that I can't. Yeah, it's okay on Brett Kiesel, but it's not okay on the quarterback. But that's just me. I digress.
Yeah.
So to me, that outburst of points you talk about, 24 and 259 late in the first half, it turned the game around. I'm just not sold that it turned the season around, even though they're going to get Jarvis Jones back pretty soon, and they're going to get Ryan Shazier back.
They need them both desperately.
These are the last 2 first-round picks, mid-first-round picks. I'm still looking at 7-9 for this team.
Okay.
I'm still looking at a couple of winnable home games that I don't think they're going to win. They got the Indianapolis Colts coming up, and they got the Baltimore Ravens coming up in Pittsburgh. I just don't think they can win those games. And you alluded to it, but it looked for a while like your Steelers were going to get blown out at home, right?
Yes,
when they're down 13-0, they just look lifeless and hopeless. And what got me was, one of the big plays in the outburst of points we talked about was, I never thought I would see the Pittsburgh Steelers at home have to resort to a reverse field, left-handed receiver pass to score from their from the 5-yard line.
That's right.
From the 5-yard line at home with 1st and goal at the 5, you have to resort to that. You know why they did? Because they are going into that game, they were 31st in red zone efficiency. These are the Pittsburgh Steelers, who in any other year you would think would just ram that ball right down your throat 3-4 times if it took 4 times and get it in the end zone. And what a sweet ball Antonio Brown threw on that looked better than some of the passes Roethlisberger threw last night.
No question.
But it was a trick play because this team is so flawed, as you point out. They have to resort to trickery to win the game. So I'm not buying into it because I think the Texans are just as flawed as the Steelers are.
I'm not going to hold against them the trickery because we saw that can work to your advantage when you look at what St. Louis did against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions.
But that was true desperation.
That was true desperation, but at the same time, trickery is trickery, and they used it to their advantage. What I'm concerned about with the Pittsburgh Steelers is that you've got 6 Super Bowl championships in franchise history, and the success primarily is predicated on the fact that you have always had a stout defense. People knew they were going to have something to contend with when going up against your defense. That is not the case right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers strike fear in no one. Defensively, they intimidate no one. You know that they're a decent football team. You know that they have decent talent. You know they have good coaching. You know they have an incredible tradition. possession. But at the same time, even the fan base, they were relatively quiet until the Steelers came alive in those 90 seconds. I mean, the crowd was relatively dead. They were unenthused. You heard boos. When they appeared enthused about anything, it was in booing you, the home team. You just get the sense this is the Steel City, man. They know, if they know nothing else, they know their football. And they know that when they look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're looking at a very, very average football team. And that is not what this franchise has been synonymous with. And so, if again, you don't have Shazier out, you don't have him there, you don't have Jarvis Jones there. Ike Taylor's out, even though you know he wasn't the greatest because he was getting up there in age. He was a senior citizen. Troy Polamalu has been playing relatively well, but at the same time, he and Ike Taylor were the senior citizens of that defense, and they were the only two guys over 30 years of age after years and years and years of the Steelers having a relatively old defense. But in the end, what it comes down to, the speed, the athleticism, some hitman out there. You got Mike Mitchell came over from Carolina, and Coach Tomlin has been pleased with him in recent weeks. But there's always little parts that show up, but collectively as a unit, that's not the case, and it's kind of shocking considering the fact that Dick LeBeau is your defensive coordinator. You would expect more. I'm not knocking the man. The man, you only do as well as your personnel allows you to do, but something's missing, and I think it's talent.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
And something that is there is age.
Yeah, well, he mentions that. You guys are talking about the defense, and you say something's missing. Let's go to the Texans, shall we? J.J. Watt.